Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Neels van der Berg with Black Dragon Forge, and I'm here to explain to you how, well, this little system of mine is working. And obviously, I'm confused by cameras. All right, but anyway, so the modular design template system that pretty much most of my daggers are based on. So this is basically the culmination of the last 4 or 5 years of my life. Not really. It is just, well, it's a system I came up with that I base all my daggers on. Yeah, size, dimensions, and everything is based on the golden ratio or the Fibonacci sequence, as explained in the very first section of the actual document. Yeah. So just to give you a bit of a sneak peek on what that looks like. It is exactly that. Yeah. How do we go from there to there, and how things make sense? Yeah. Okay. So pretty much this the document is divided into 10 sections. All right. Number 1 is ratio, aspect ratio. Number 2 is blade design. Number 3 is Quillon Block, and then the Quillon Transition, then the front space of the handle, the back space of the pommel. And then right at the end, you have got built-in design sheets with, I don't know if I could do that. Oh, hold on. I think I actually have it linked up. So let me just quickly see. There we go. So right at the back, you've got a design section, which is exactly what you then use to design your dagger on. Yeah? Okay. So a long story short, before I continue, I want to just stop right there and say, okay, cool. If you are going to be buying the system, you're going to have to go onto my website, blackdragonforge.co.za. You're going to scroll all the way down. So hit the page, very first page, scroll down to the left bottom corner, hit the buy now button. And if you do that, it is going to ask you to process. It's going to cost you $35, and make sure to subscribe for product update emails. So if I do a new version, everyone that actually bought the thing will then obviously get an email to notify you that you've, well, that you're eligible for a new one. Yeah. Done. If you don't trust the whole, I don't know, credit card on the internet thing, all the payments are processed by PayPal, by the way, so it is secure. But if you don't trust that and you want to talk to me directly, then obviously you can pop me an email. Yeah, you can give me a call. It's as easy as that. All my contact details are on screen. Yeah. So when I mean on screen, it is right there. So there you can give me a call. Easy as that. All right. So, but let's remove that for now and get back to this section here, how the design actually works. Right. So you can now design with the actual design template. All right. So in other words, you're going to go through the steps using the design template, and then it's a handy little A4 page that you end up with. Now, I don't like working on A4. I like A3 for the sheer fact, as per example, that there. So that was the Quillon Dagger, the Stiletto Dagger that I designed. Yeah. So Stiletto Dagger templates, hold that thought. Yeah. Okay. So I like large pieces of paper. Then I put into a A3 flip file, and that is my design portfolio. Okay. So easy way to do this is to just show you how to do it. Yeah. So I'm not going to sit here and try to create a masterpiece. This is purely to show you how this works. So I'm just taking that and moving it off my light table. And it's not required that you have a light table. It's not required that you draw on tracing paper. So this is architect's tracing paper. I just like the stuff, man. Yeah, I like the stuff. For the sheer fact that I can, for instance, go and take my blade template, and I'm going to go for obviously a very easy one. So we're going to go for blade number 1, which is just a plain straightforward blade, but I'm going to go for variation 3, which gives me a long center plunge. Yeah. So you can go for blade variation number 5, which will give you a fuller blah. So I'm going to space that out, and basically I've got a line drawn on my piece of paper. Okay, just a line from one corner to the other corner. And all I'm doing now is I am going to line my dagger blade up on this. And then I'm going to trace it off. Yeah. This is rocket science, this. So to keep the stuff from moving once I've lined it up, use some masking tape. Stick it down. You don't have to stick down the entire thing. One piece is good. And then I've got my trusty old pencil. And essentially you want to be using a ruler here. But I am not obviously going to do that. So I just want to show you the basic principle. Remember, years ago, as kids, we had these cartoons where you could, well, it was a stack of photocopies. If you were lucky, you had a book of them. And essentially what it was a load of caricatures that you could draw. So you can, you could select through a couple of pages of eyes and then select the eyes that you like. And, well, once you've got your eyes set, you trace them down, and then you select a hairstyle and you put them in. And then a face form and a smile and a nose, or a smile. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Eyes. You got the eyes, you got the nose, you got everything. And you just traced it down. Now, this is basically the same principle. Yeah. You're taking my... I screwed that up, didn't I? Okay, so that was it. I've got my blade in there. She's looking a tad dodgy. So let me just I'll get a piece of backing paper. And I can put at the back of that nice thick one, which will obviously make that stand out a lot more. Yeah? So that's it. That is, and obviously now, because I traced like my ass, I will go in and refine everything, but the ratios will be there. So if I don't like the way that the heel of this dagger looks like, I can go and change it. Yeah. So I'll make it a square, maybe work a Spanish notch in there. I don't know. But yeah, that gives you a fairly good idea of, well, how the first system works, and you just carry on, man. So let's go to Quillon Block. The Quillon Block is obviously the transition. Yeah, so let's go find the Quillon Block little photo. All right, so basically what I've done is I've now selected blade type number 1, but variation number 3. So there we go. So I selected variation number 3 in there. So not the first one, not the second one, the third one. That's the one I traced. Now I'm going to go over to Quillon Block. So as you can see, the Quillon Block is the transition between the ricasso, which is the blade flat, and then the Quillons, which is on the side. So we're going to go for Quillon Block number 1, which will just make life a tad easier here. Where's my Quillon Block? I need my light table switched on again. And like I said, you don't need to have a light table. A window works brilliantly. Yeah. You've got a glass table, that works brilliant as well. So line it up and then go and just do the basics. So this just gives me a rough idea regarding dimensions. And then I will go and sit based on this rough sketch that I'm now doing. And I'll go and add in extra details. So for the Quillon, which is our next step. So for Quillons, I am going to select page 1. And I'm actually going to go for, let's call it Quillon number 4. How's that? Yeah? It's not overly complicated. So let's go for that one there. So I'm going to grab my page. And there's quite a few pages with Quillons on them. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4 pages with 5 pages. 5 pages. 5 pages with 5 Quillon designs per page. Yeah. So we're just going to go. And obviously, the more you do this, the more variations you will come up with by yourself. So I said I wanted to do number. What was it? No, let's do number 5, which will help us add a bit more detail. And because of the dotted lines behind everything, it becomes relatively easy just to line things up, get things symmetrical. So what I'm now going to do is I'm actually going to be cheating a tad. Well, not cheating. So what I want to do is on the Quillon design that I have here, I'm not going to draw the entire thing. I am going to be changing the Quillon transition. Yeah, so you can't see here, but let me do this. So from there, that transition there, I'm going to be changing that. Yeah, so every single one, there are different ones on each and every one of these designs, but that there's an extra sheet with just those on there. So I want to change that. So I'm not going to draw the one in that is currently here. So there are guys that ask me, look, can you just make the ones that, so for instance, Quillon number 1, handle number 1, blade number 1, blah, 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 and you use that design, can I make it? I'm saying, dude, once you bought the thing, you can go and do it what you want. Yeah, it's as easy as that. Oh, on Quillons, I said there were 5 pages. Apparently there's 6, 7 pages of just Quillon designs. So Quillon Transitions, that's the one I want to get to. Yeah, so there is a whole wad of Quillon Transitions, and I actually want to do one I'm actually going to be using on a dagger coming up soon. Where is it? Did I skip it already? Oh, come on. Oh, there we go. Number 6. Damn it. So now number 6, I think I'm actually going to go for number 3. Come to think of it. Yeah, I'm going to go for number 3. So you're allowed to change your mind, apparently. Number 3. Yeah, that's it. So each of these, so number 3 has got square shoulders on the transition piece. And when I go into detail, I'm obviously going to change that up. And I want that to not have square shoulders in. But for the purposes of my drawing here, I'm going to keep the square shoulders. So this really sets your mind, or eases your mind when it comes to the actual design itself. Yeah, everything is in an aspect ratio. Everything lines up. It makes life easy just to get things in the right proportion. And then you can, you don't have to use the designs I have. You can go and build your own library going forward, or you will be eligible for just the upgrades that I do on the specific package, yeah, once you've bought it. So I'm going to get to comments in a moment, guys. Let me just get the basics of this down. Yeah, that's a really dodgy sketch I have there. All right, so I've got 2. So I've got my blade, I've got my Quillon block, I've got my Quillon, I've got the transitions. And so now I'm going to head over to the front spacer on my blade. And on the front spacer, I'm thinking I'm going to go for something that's got a bit of a raised detail. So one thing you'll notice on these is that, once again, based on aspect ratio, the blade, or the come on, the ricasso width and the front spacer width is exactly the same, which gives you that clean transition through the guard or the Quillon. Yeah. So on all of them, they meet at least those basic criteria. Look, it has to be the same. If it's the same, it'll look cool. If it's not the same, well, there are daggers traditionally that didn't have them the same. But what I find is immediately those transition points stand out. And like I mentioned, this is purely a starting point, yeah, for your creative journey. So the handle, I'm going to stick to handle number 11, which is on page 2. And the nice thing about the handles, what I've done here is if you want to do fluting, which I am intending on this one, so there's basically 2 of those handles that can be used for fluting that that you're avoiding undercut. So when you're doing fluting and you want to do a wire wrap, that there's no undercuts. In other words, the wires won't be hung up in the air. Yeah, so all of that thinking has already been done. All you need to do, you'll see that in every single one of these templates, every single variation, the original one, the very first one that you see on the page, or the very first page, let's call it the master. There is that master is always in a little dotted line behind the whatever variation there is on the subsequent pages or the subsequent versions of that same thing. Yeah. All right, so that was it. Now I'm moving over to the backspacer. My dagger's almost done, man. Well, being a bit dodgy. So the backspacer, I might be doing... I think I'm going to leave the backspacer. Or am I going to just do a really simple pommel on there? I think I'm just going to do a very basic pommel. So then I'm going to do, on the backspacer, I think I'm going to go for number 12 at the back here, which is pretty... No, that's going to be a bit boring. So let's dig it in. Let's go for number 2. I think it should look very cool. Because it's a slight depression. A slight raised area. Come to think of it, I am going to go with what? Oh, this is decisions. See, my original thought. Let's go for 12 on this. Yeah. Let's go with the original one. I think so. Well, I can actually just change it up in any case. So maybe I should just mark my spacing, and then I can come back and decide on a Quillon transition once I've decided on my pommel. So the pommels, there are quite a few pommels. Let's see, where have I got pommels? So there is some of the Quillon Transitions. There's variations on the front spacer. We've got the handle. So the one that I went for was number 11, so bottom left of your current screen. Then we have got the back spacer transition. So I wanted to go for the one to the bottom right. So maybe, but I need to select a pommel first. So I only have the first sheet of pommels on here, but I want to go for a really, really basic pommel, which is going to be a long slanted pommel, I think. So let's see. I might be doing that one there. So pommel number 14, I think, as a very basic start. And then depending on what I decide to do on the variations on this, if I'm going to do the variations, then I will obviously go and either upgrade the pommel or downgrade the pommel, make the thing smaller, make it longer. I don't know yet. But that's the beauty of the system, because this is purely a place for you to start at. Yeah. Now, when I do my final, so let me just hand draw something in here. And I think I actually have this. Oh, this is pommel variation, or spacer variation number 4, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, number 1. This is the go-to one, apparently. All right, so that is my basic dagger. Let me just get a white backing to this. Where's my sheet? Sheet, I've missed it. They've lost my sheet. Ah, there we go. Because I work on drafting tracing paper with a light from the back, it becomes very difficult to see what I'm doing on the actual, well, light table. Yeah. So there is my basic one, and now I can now go and color in and change slight formations, but everything is set. this dagger is now proportionally absolutely perfect. Yeah. And it is one of, man, a multitude. Now, in the documentation, I say 5,000 variations, but it is fairly easy and fairly quick to realize that there's way, way, way more than 5,000 variations. So that was me talking crap doing that from going live in 20 minutes. Yeah. Okay. So that's it. So how many different variations? So let's see. I've got 3 different blade designs. So I need to pull up a calculator here. Okay, so we've got 3 blade designs. Yeah, we have got on Quillons, there is 1, 2, 3, 4 basics and then 2 variations. So let's call it 4. Then we've got Quillons. Quillons is the big one. We have got different Quillons, 45 of them. 45, and with the 45, you can on each and every one of those go and do Quillon Transition changes. If I can find wherever they are. And there is, I don't lie to you, 2 sheets of them. Is it 2 sheets? Is it 1 sheet? I can't remember, man. I can't remember. Let's call it 1 sheet, and that is 21. 21 odd variations. So just in that combination alone, it's 45 times 21. Yeah. So let's quickly do that. So 45 times 21 will give me 945. Yeah. And then if we have a look at front spaces, where is front spaces? I don't know. Front spaces, I've got 12 handles. There's 12. Then we have back spaces. Oh, on the Quillon Transition, it wasn't 21. It was 42. 42, sorry. Back spaces, we've got 8. So we'll redo a math there. Pommels, we have 24. And that is pretty much it. So let me just redo the math on that other one. Yeah. So it's 45 times 42. It gives me 1,890 variations. 1,890 variations. So just on Quillons. So just on that there. Now, obviously, they're not going to be unique and you are going to get bored. So let's stick to the 45. Yeah. So we just take the basics here. We've got 3 basic blade shapes. This is a straight one, which is a leaf shape at the back, or a winged heel, and then a sexy, almost like an elven blade shape. So the 3 basic blade shapes with 4 variations per blade shape. So we're only going to count 3. So it's 3 times 4 times 45 times 12 times 12 times 8 times 24. Yeah, so that is, are you ready? 14,929,920 different combinations. Being South African, I need to have you guys double check that. Yeah. So that is the possible combinations done. But I honestly feel that if you're doing 5,000 out of this, then man, you kind of pretty much be fed up for daggers here. And by that time, I will definitely have some additional designs available. All right, so well, that's it. That's how you use the system. This is now, you can either just go and make this dagger. Yeah. You can either now just go make this dagger, or you can now go and say, all right, fine, you know what? I used on there, on the Quillon Transition, I used number 14. On the the end of it, I used on the Quillon itself, I used number, what was it, number 5, 6, number 6. On my Quillon block, I used number 1. On my handle, I used number 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think this was number 9. Pommel was number 16, I think. But anyway, so spacer was number X. Blade was number 1, variation 3. So you can build up a library. It's fairly easy, man. Okay, so now I will go, once I've got the proportions, got the basic idea, excuse me, now I will go and sit and redraw this entire thing. So I'll use this as a start. I will now take, and that's my tracing paper. It slips to the bottom of my table. And if I now, for whatever reason, decide, look, I would like to change this, everything, I'll grab another piece of trace, even just on another section, and do a combo just of and a Quillon Block, something, and then I can move and trace that into it, or cut it up over there, and then see what that's going to look like. Yeah. Want to bring stuff forward, see what to do. On one side, flip it over, tracing paper, and when you redraw, that other side is done. So a couple of neat little tips that I've used. That's it. Using the system. As easy as falling out of a tree, and it doesn't hurt as much. Yeah. So once again, you guys are interested in purchasing, supporting, you're going to go on to blackdragonforge.co.za. And thank you guys have purchased so far. Blackdragonforge.co.za. And you're going to scroll to the left of the page. You're going to hit buy now. I am not sending you anything. So as soon as you go through the entire process, don't prematurely kill the screen. Yeah. It's going to take you through. It's going to take your details. It's going to say payment successful. And then it'll redirect you to a page where you can actually download the file. Yeah. So stay online. Stay. My own stream. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for all the guys that popped in. Mr. Zwan, Mr. Stuart Smith, Nick, Matt, Robert, Edson. How's it going, man? Brown, and then Maxim. Thank you very much for popping around, spending a bit of time with me, and letting me talk through the system. Yeah, that's for the guys that's I really, really appreciate it. And before I start doing serious documentation, let me do this video, and then I can just point guys to it. Yeah. Thank you very, very much. I am already working on a couple more variations for this, including a Crusader Dagger flat pommel, which is obviously not covered in here. And I don't know why I didn't think about this. Yeah, but a good mate reminded me, I said I was going to add it in. So for if you buy now, make sure to hit that little be notified of update on the very first page. Click that, and as soon as I update the file, you'll get an email, and you can re-download it. Yeah, but in the meanwhile, Thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. Love it. Thank you very much. And obviously, at the bottom of this, below the video is all my contact details. Yeah, everything regarding from my mobile number, my every single one of my presences on the interwebs. Any issues, any questions, send me an email direct to my inbox. So that's the best. Otherwise, you leave a comment on social media, and I can pray that that's it. If you're in South Africa, load me onto WhatsApp, yeah, man, ask away. Send me photos of the stuff that you have done. If you want to spam me at Dragonforge, that's on all your sketches. Yeah, done, man. I might see something where I can add a bit of input. What is my background? What does make me? I'm a journeyman smith with the American Society, certified in 2016, and actually, big secret. Way back in the day, when the Dead Sea was still sick, I actually studied art. Yeah. So drawing, aspect ratios, kind of understand that, man. And I can make a semi-decent knife. So hit me up, yeah? Any advice, anytime. Once again, thank you very much for your time, your patience, and obviously your support. Really appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, that was it for me. See you on the flip side. Cheers.